describe a time when a trait of yours helped your leadership in a way that you made it a part of your leadership style?
Yeah, so I kind of think one of the things that I might describe myself as something of an introvert and maybe even sometimes quiet. And I think that's helped me as a leader because I don't know if I'm always the good listener that I need to be, but being someone who is kind of introverted, I think I'm more apt to listen than I am to necessarily always feel like I have to be the one who's talking to people and telling them what to do. And I think it's a good trait of leaders to be willing to listen to everyone in the group that they're leading, to recognize that everyone wants to be heard, and also to be willing to running a meeting or in any kind of conversation, to be willing not to be the one who's always speaking, to let other people have their say so you can hear other ideas and recognize that, right, the reason hopefully you want to lead other people is to get their ideas out, not necessarily to always.
So, the main trait that he would like to continue in his leadership is his introvert nature. He said that he believes more in listening to other people rather than talking. And the trait approach to leadership clearly suggests that certain inherent traits make individuals effective leaders. This clearly emphasizes introversion, listening, and attentiveness, which align with this theory. Leaders with strong listening skills and keen observation can better understand their team needs and make informed decisions. These traits foster innovation and reinforcing that leadership is not just about speaking but also about understanding and guiding others effectively. This focus mainly on active listening over dominant speaking and demonstrates emotional intelligence and adaptability, which are the key characteristics of the leadership.
So, do you, as a leader of a team, also face problems like self doubt or some uncertainty?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, that it's also that self-doubt in understanding what all the relationships with people on the team are, not knowing, right? We have a meeting, we get together as a group, we discuss what we've done, what we think we're going to do, and then there's all this time in between that meeting and whenever the next meeting is. And so, right, like not always, because we're not always here at the same time even, right? So it's not always being able to keep the lines of communication open. It's not like people are trying to not communicate. It just doesn't happen. So it's easy to think at times like, are we all still on the same page? Am I still leading this group well? So yeah, absolutely.
Then how do you regain confidence in that type of situations?
A lot of it is, I think, as a leader, being transparent with people about the decisions that you make and why you make them. So if we've decided to do something in a meeting and we, for whatever reason, it's not going to work out, right? To not just let it drop, but then to communicate to people. This is why, as the leader, I've had to change ideas. I can give you an example of one. This is again while I was chair of the English department. We had a set amount of scholarship money to give to students who met certain criteria. And we would get together in May at the end of the semester to talk about students and say who were the ones who we ranked to get these scholarships. And then we make the decision and we tell our financial aid office and they send out the award letters. Over the summer then, a student who was not on that list when we made the decisions in April or May, whenever it was, but finished that semester with really strong grades and moved up to where he was qualified. Got in touch with me because he was struggling financially and was going to leave the school, and was saying, is there anything that like, what do I do? How can you help? And so I started talking to our financial aid office and looked at it and saw, like, well, we had money left that we didn't give out in these scholarships. This student is eligible. So I said, to financial aid, without contacting the rest of the department, give this student this money. And then as soon as I did that, right, I went back and told the faculty, this is the decision that I made. I realized I didn't consult you, but the student was in a place of real desperation. If we didn't do it quickly, the student probably wouldn't have come back. So I don't think nobody really complained to me. I don't think they mind it. But that's part of, like, you can counter, and I was questioning, like, should I even do this or should I wait? But you can counter your self-doubt sometimes and uncertainty just by making sure the people that you work with know why you are making decisions rather than keeping this decision, the reason behind the decisions, to yourself.
So he, as a leader, also faced problems like self doubt or uncertainty, but it shows that leadership is not about perfection. It supports adaptability, which is a part of behavior approach. Leadership is about adjusting your behavior based upon challenges. And when we asked him about that, how you regain your confidence in that type of situations, so he clearly said that being transparent, the first rule is to overcome this situation is to being transparent about decisions you make, which clearly showing us about situational approach, because transparency in decision making clearly match the situation. In directing situations, it shows focus on clarity, whereas in coaching situations, it should involve team members in discussion and enhance learning.
In what ways do you adapt your leadership behavior when guiding a team through any kind of uncertainty?
I think what I usually try to do in uncertainty is slow things down. Right, because sometimes you can't because you have deadlines, but if you can work more slowly or as slow as you can kind of sit with the uncertainty and understand it better. Because, if you're not sure exactly what to do in some situation, if you're struggling trying to figure it out, you also could be likely to respond in a way that isn't the best response. So the more you can, like, sit with the uncertainty and understand it, the better opportunity I think you have to overcome it.
So this video is clearly describing us about how path goal theory works in a leadership, because he said that when you face any kind of uncertainty, it's always good to keep your pace down. He also told us that by keeping things slow, we can be easily able to understand the exact cause and be able to solve it with more efficiency and clarity, which clearly shows us about directive leadership, which is a very important part of path goal theory. Because path goal theory, it mainly emphasizes on adapting leadership to help teams and navigate uncertainty. The notes reflect directive leadership where clear guidance and pacing reduce any problems. By slowing down, leaders enhance clarity, efficiency, and problem solving. This properly aligns with the theory's goal of removing obstacles, ensuring team success through support and well-defined expectations.
What's the most surprising behavior you would have to change or adjust as a leader?
Lots of the work that we do is work that's by ourselves, I'm an English professor, I'm a creative writer, I sit down alone, and, like, for me to be a successful writer, I need to be at home by myself or in here by myself writing. And then even, like, teaching is still, planning courses is often a solo activity, and grading papers is something we do alone. So that sort of like I think lots of the training that we have to get to this job is how to work by yourself. And so the big thing to sort of change and learn differently is how do you work with other people, and how do you, right? If you have a big report that's due, it's really natural for, I think especially for like English professors, to be like, I'll go home and I'll write this and I'll have a draft, instead of like, we will sit down and try to write a draft, or we'll assign parts of it to different people and everyone will write a section and then we'll come back together.
He clearly describes about this that the most surprising behavior as a leader he would have to change is to sit alone and work for things. So by this we clearly are learning about transformational leadership because it emphasizes self-reflection, inspiration and understanding others to drive position change. By taking time alone to work through thoughts, a leader practices influence, ensuring that they lead by example. This reflection fosters inspirational motivation, helping them to create a vision that encourages growth. It also promotes intellectual stimulation, allowing leaders to challenge perspectives and embrace innovation. And most importantly, individualized concentration enables them to understand the emotions, fears, and need of their followers, ensuring support and empathy. So, through this approach, a leader not only improves themselves but also inspires transformation in others.
So, what is the one lesson that you learned as a leader that you wish you could teach to every aspiring leader?
I think it's that idea of confidence, because I can remember the two sort of like even quick examples. There was one time as a department chair, I was trying to make a schedule of courses, and I kept going to the dean who was above me and asking like, is this okay? And then we come back, is this okay? And at one point she finally said to me, you're the department chair. You're in charge. And so I didn't have that kind of confidence. The other example that I'd give is just running meetings. Like I used to always go through running a meeting and feel like we didn't accomplish anything. We got to the end and people talked a lot, but I didn't really know what we had done. And after one of those meetings, a friend said to me, well, that was actually about assessment, right? And the friend said to me like, oh, well, that meeting took a long time and it was kind of a pain to sit through, but you got 5 things out of that you can use now. And I didn't realize that until he said it. And so I sort of feel like, right, that idea of getting confidence and recognizing that, like, wait, I know what I'm doing, I should trust myself, and I set up this meeting, and we wanted to accomplish things, and I got those things done. So even if there are other things along the way that seem like they're difficult, like to just believe that, like, if you set out to accomplish something and you get pieces of it done, that's effective.
So, in the end of this video, Professor Gary Leising, he clearly sent a message to all of the aspiring leaders that confidence and recognizing your way of doing things are the main skills which we learned in leadership with time, which is clearly given example of skill approach, because skill approach to leadership emphasizes that leadership abilities are learned and developed over time rather than being innate. Confidence is a crucial aspect of this approach as it grows through experience and skills refinement. Recognizing one way of doing things aligns with the 3 main core leadership skills which we learned in our class, which are technical skills, human skills, and conceptual skills. As leaders gain experience, they build confidence in their abilities, which is reinforcing the idea that leadership is a skill that improves with learning and practice.